Hi, and thank you for joining me on another episode of the Tech Exec podcast, where we triple your impact peer engineer. As always, I'm your host, Aviv Ben-Yosef, advisor, consultant, and coach to tech execs worldwide. And our subject today is meetings, checksums. I know you're wondering what I'm talking about. Before we get to that, let me remind you, I'm launching a new community. When this goes out, it should probably go into public beta, I'm hoping. So do check it out. The link is in the show notes. It's a closed community for executives worldwide to work together, learn from one another. I'm going to be there. I'm going to help you out as well. And I believe it's going to be amazing and an incredibly valuable tool for your support in your day-to-day work and for your personal growth. So check it out. And now, meetings and checksums. After having quite a few episodes in a row that were more strategic, more high level, I decided to give you one episode that's going to be a quick win, very tactical about how you can view your meetings and make them a tiny bit better. I've told you a few times already that I have all of my new clients assess themselves across a bunch of traits. One of them naturally is communication. I usually say, how often do you feel like what you had intended to convey is what the other party understood, and vice versa? And I believe that if you want to be better at communication, especially as your organization grows, as you have more and more hybrid meetings where some people are in the room, some are in the Zoom, we need to ensure that what we end up achieving or agreeing on in a meeting is what we intended to. How many times have you finished a long meeting, you moved on to the next, and by the end of the day, no one even remembers what happened in the first meeting of the day. You're not sure if there were action items, if you're supposed to be doing that, if what you understood is even what the other party wanted. And I know that basically no one likes being the person that diligently asks for all the action items to sum up the meeting, especially if it's running late. So I like to call this meeting checksums. Right at the end, you have like the last 30 seconds. I quickly ask, so what's the one thing we cannot forget about? Assuming that once we go out of this meeting, the garbage collector is going to run. Everyone's going to forget about this meeting. What do we have to ensure that's committed to the hard drive and we have a checksum on it to know that this meeting even happened and had an impact on the company? That's what I asked, like the single impact, the single thing that we need to change. Sometimes it's an action item, sometimes just agreeing to something as a principle. And once I use it enough, people know when I say in the last 2 minutes, so what's the checksum? They just give me the one bullet point and we move on. And sometimes it's David's responsibility to come up with the 3 action items. Okay, I'm good with that. We don't have to come up with it right now, but we have someone who's going to do it. Or we really didn't decide, we have to schedule another session. So someone does that. And hopefully also make sure that by the time we get to the next session, we have the extra information needed to get to it. When we just ask for the checksum, first of all, it makes people more aware about the fact that meetings need to have consequences, but also, and this is something that I've seen, when you finish too many meetings and you realize that you don't really have a checksum, you don't really have a takeaway, people start questioning, hey, why did we just sit here for 30 minutes and talk? And that's sometimes even more important than having checksums on your other conversation. When you realize that you can be cutting a lot of talk because it just has become some sort of filler. We're just used to it. It's on the calendar. It's recurring. We just do it. So just demand the checksum. Have your people do it. And I understand it's weird, but it's one of those things like, I don't know, deciding you're a hat guy. If you do it for 3 times, people are going to get used to it. So just do it 3 times, ask for the checksum, explain what it is the first 3, 4, 5 times, and that's it. People are going to be aware of it. They're going to be expecting it, and you're just going to say, hey, checksum. They tell you, you told them, that's it. Goodbye. So have your meeting checksums, and you're going to see how this small trick makes your meetings more effective. And actually, as people get used to it, they start thinking in advance, hey, so what am I going to say the checksum is? When they send a new invite, some of them, the really good ones, are going to have the checksum in the agenda. That's what I want. That's what you want. Because you want meetings to have a meaning. Otherwise, it's just a waste of everyone's time. That's it for this week. Thank you for joining me. And if you haven't yet, check out the new community. It's just for you, specially made. Check it out. Waiting to see you there. That's it for this week. Thank you. Talk soon.